March 3rd, 2026, we have a lunar eclipse. This eclipse is falling at 12:51 of Virgo. That's where the moon is during the eclipse. So if you have anything in Virgo, especially in the middle of Virgo, in Tropical Virgo, or anything around 7, 8 degrees of Sidereal Leo, this eclipse is going to impact you really strongly. And if you have anything in the sign that the eclipse is falling in, you can also expect to have some effects. And the closer it is to a planet there, especially planets or house cusp, the more you can expect this eclipse to impact you. Now, before I go on to explain what this particular eclipse is going to do, I need to step back to the first eclipse in this cycle, which happened way back in May 23rd, 1557 is when this very long eclipse cycle started. Every 18 years, there'll be an eclipse that's part of this cycle. And when that eclipse happens, it will repeat a certain theme, the theme based on this first eclipse. So I have to go back and study that eclipse. Now, that eclipse is indicated by this inner circle here. In that eclipse, the moon was at 133 of Sagittarius, and the influences on it were really just one really strong influence of Pluto over here. That makes it a nice, clean eclipse, and that it's not influenced by a ton of planets. Um, there's really no other tight aspects to this lunar eclipse, and that's kind of a nice thing. It keeps it more simple. What's not so nice is that the one planet that's influencing it is Pluto. And basically, what this eclipse is about, to interpret it, I'm going to use the Aditya symbology, which I like to use more. So Aditya-wise, the moon is going to be under the influence of Bhaga. Now, Bhaga is the dispenser. He's the one that dispenses this and that gives whatever you get. And he dispenses according to our will, our intent, the energy we've been focusing on. So what have we been doing? What have we been focusing on? Where have we been focusing our will and energy? And then we're going to get something. And that thing we get, Bhaga is going to be the one who gives it. So it's the results of your will, of your intention, of your focus, of where you're putting your energy in. Where you put your energy is going to give you a result. So this eclipse is always going to have a huge impact in every one of its cycles, um, of seeing where, what you're getting back because of how you've been using your will, how you've been using your intelligence. Bhaga gives us back based on what we actually do. Okay. And you could almost say this will, this intention of Bhaga is our free will. We can use our will, we can make something happen. How have we been using it? Now you're going to find out during this eclipse. The full moon, this is happening at full moon, as do all lunar eclipses, is about seeing what you get, getting the full dose of it. So you're going to get something back based on what you've been doing, basically. And the idea of bhagya is that you get back something that feels like bhaga, which means fortune. You go, gosh, I'm really lucky. All these great things are happening in my life. Well, not really. You worked for it, so you deserve it. That's how bhaga works. It doesn't just give you free luck. It's luck that we've earned. So wherever this lunar eclipse falls, in each one of the eclipses of this cycle, every 18 years, the theme is always going to be I put energy into something, I use my strength, I use my intelligence, I use my volition and will, and this is what I'm getting from it. This is what it earned me. So it's very much a time of being 100% responsible because you earned whatever this lunar eclipse is bringing. And the difficulty with this eclipse is that we have Pluto influencing it. And so that makes this lunar eclipse a difficult eclipse. Every time this eclipse happens, every 18 years, it's going to be somewhat difficult because Pluto there is asking the moon to make a huge adjustment. And so we're going to get to this eclipse every 18 years, and wherever house it falls in, whatever planet it lands on, we're going to go, wow, this is what I'm getting with this. After all my hard work and effort, this is what I'm getting. And the moon, which is the planet that needs to get something that causes us to even act in the first place, is going to have to go through a hard adjustment to appreciate what it got. It's not really going to be what it wants. It's going to be going, but I needed this and I wanted that. And it's going to feel like a hurt, cheated baby. And it's going to have to go, okay, I need to shift my perspective. I need to understand why what I'm getting is making me cry, making me not happy. What emotional adjustment do I have to make? It's a time of a huge emotional adjustment. And what that means is because the moon's not going to be satisfied with what it gets each one of these eclipse cycles, it's going to have to have an attitude adjustment. It's going to have to grow. It's going to have to understand how some of the needs it had weren't really fair, that those were maybe needs that they needed to be more responsible for instead of thinking the world was going to have to give them. There's going to have to be some kind of emotional adjustment. Um, lots of times what happens is we try to go fulfill a need, we do it in a certain way, and then when the realization comes, when we get our fair share, it's not really right for us. And that's because what we set out to do wasn't right for us in the beginning. So, see, sometimes our needs are misguided. We think we need something, so we go for it, we use our will to get there, and then we get there, we're like, wait a minute, this isn't what I needed in the first place. This isn't the life I needed, the person I needed, the job I needed, whatever. So during this lunar eclipse, it's very much a time to find out, like, holy shit, this is not really what I needed. Okay. And then we're going to have to make an adjustment as well. So it's basically an eclipse that shows us that we've been going about trying to fulfill a need in a way that wasn't really right for us. And so we're going to be left going, wow, I'm not really getting what I needed. Now what? Well, now you have to adjust the need. Now you have to get more clarity on it. So that's one possibility. So there is going to be, like I said, people will have to make an emotional shift. Other people, they'll have to make an emotional shift to appreciate what they have. It's like, I wanted this and I wanted that, and this is how my life is. But then this eclipse will help them make a shift and go, but wait a minute, this is actually really quite good. But not until there's disappointment, there's depression, there's a feeling of not, you know, things not working out basically. It's like, great, I spent all that time and now look at this. So this eclipse is going to start out disappointing. It's going to start out emotionally very, very frustrating. All right. Um, and it can as be emotionally, yes, the feelings will come up with a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustrations, a lot of angers, can be a very volatile time for people who are being triggered with this eclipse because it's going to be a really deep lack of satisfaction in the area of this eclipse. The previous eclipse, the solar eclipse, which is happening in about 11 days from now, we have the solar eclipse. As I mentioned, that's a pretty nice eclipse in the last eclipse video. The lunar eclipse, though, is not such a nice one. You want to get hit by the solar more than you want to get hit by this lunar. This lunar one's going to show you where emotionally things are not working out, you're not getting your needs met, and you're going to have to make a pretty severe emotional, adjustment to your life if you want to get your needs met, or a pretty severe adjustment to how you're trying to get your needs met because maybe you're trying to do it in a way that's not really right. People who have a tendency to try to fulfill their needs in ways that are always dead ends, who are getting hit by this, are really going to have the worst time of it because you will hit a huge dead end if that's the way you play the game. Okay, now the outer circle is this particular eclipse right now, the one that happens at 1251 Tropical Virgo. So this is the one we want to see if you get hit by. If you have something at 1 degree of Sagittarius where the original eclipse was, it doesn't matter. We have to look where the current eclipse is hitting you. And that is at 1251 Virgo. So anything in Virgo, anything close to that is going to be really, really strongly impacted, okay? And this eclipse is really an interesting one because opposite the eclipse, we have all the planets right now. We have Mars, Sun, Mercury, Venus, all opposite there. And so the ruler of the eclipse is over there with the sun, with the Mars. It's over there on the other side of the eclipse. And that's going to make this to be one of these eclipses of a lot of inner conflict, okay? So the moon's going to come along, hit something, you're going to go, geez, this isn't really how I wanted my life to be. This isn't really how I wanted this thing to be or that thing to be. It's not what I really needed. And then, okay, I need to change it. But all this inner conflict will come with it, being torn apart, where part of the person will want to go one way, part of the person will think another way is the solution, and it'll just be so damn hard to know what really needs to be done. Now, because this lunar eclipse is falling in Twashta, Twashta is the divine architect, the chariot maker. He's the one who builds things. He builds things for ourselves, he builds things for other people. Um, he demonstrates love by essentially by building a life with someone, okay, by making something for someone, by making something possible for someone. That's how this particular Aditya demonstrates love. And now we have this lunar eclipse. So a person has been, building a life with someone, building things for someone, making things possible for someone. And of course, in that, it's a two-way street. Okay. Twashta is very much an aditya of creating two-way streets between people. So it's worthwhile for both people to keep doing it. So, um, he's the chariot maker. So say you go down to the car dealership and you need a new car. Well, the car maker made the car and he's going to give it to you. No, he's not. You're going to give him 30, 40, $50,000 and he's going to give you the car. So this is how Twashta works. All that effort to build something can't be given for free. If you build someone's life, you have to also be building your life with them, right? So it's always a two-way street at Twashta. So whatever it is you're building with someone, for someone, it has to be a two-way street that, provides what both people in it need. And now we have this lunar eclipse going there. Okay, you built 10 cars for this person, for this job, for this whatever, and you got payment for half a car. You didn't really get a fair payment. There's going to be a disappointment. It's like, wait a minute, I really didn't get it. It wasn't a fair deal. That's how this eclipse is going to play itself out, where you're going to realize that a lot of things in life just didn't work out fairly. Now, the thing to do at that point is to examine why. So, again, the whole point of this eclipse is to get um, something I need, bhaga, get the stuff that I need, the good stuff in life, to get ahead in life, which is bhaga, the fortune, to have luck and fortune and feel lucky in this area of life. And this eclipse is going to make that a bit hard to show a person how they really haven't been going about it in the right way. And now the current eclipse is happening with the influence of Twashta Aditya, and that means it's specifically happening because how the person is playing, making the deals in their life. I'm going to build this for you, do this for you, and you're going to build this, do this for me. And is that a fair deal or not? And a lot of people are going to realize, wow, things aren't a fair deal. My so and so is leaving me. Why? Wow, because I haven't been giving them a fair deal. For every one car I give them, they giving me two or three cars. So of course they need to leave. They can't sustain that. They're going bankrupt. So it's a time of seeing how your deals, your interchanges you've made with people aren't fair. And needs won't get met by one or both people involved with anything that this eclipse is being hit, or whatever area of life, you're always making a trade. Say it's not about people. Say you're just working home alone as an artist. All right, how much did you make as an artist last year? Are you surviving? Is this working for you? Whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to build in your life and what it gives back, that's what's going to be in balance. That's where you're going to see the huge imbalances during this eclipse. Okay. And Um, and that's going to be a bit difficult because, like I said, this is a tough eclipse in general based on the original eclipse. Now, the moon in this particular eclipse that we're having now um, doesn't have Neptune influencing it, doesn't have Pluto influencing it strongly, doesn't have Uranus influencing it strongly. That's good. What it does have to make things better is it has Jupiter over here making a really tight sextile within 3 degrees to the moon. So I have a nice Jupiter influence. Jupiter always makes us be able to have the compassion, the acceptance, and the wisdom to be better with okay. So this will minimize the strain. You'll be able to see the good things in it. You'll be able to have let's say, be big enough to say, okay, I didn't get a great trade. I'm not going to hold it against you. Yeah, it didn't really work out the way I did more than I got back, but I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm going to be okay with it. I can handle that, but I don't want to live this way anymore. I don't really want to continue this theme. So you can, you know, change gears um, without resentment, basically. And that's what this will require. It will require a changing of gears where it's like, wait, I need this to work so I can sustain it, which means it has to be equally in my favor. Because that's where you'll see the shortcomings in your life somehow. Whether that is charging more for your paintings if you're an artist, demanding a raise from your job, your boss, or going elsewhere, telling your partner you need more this time or that time, whether it's more alone time or more them time, whatever it is you need so that you feel like for what you're putting out, you're getting back what you need as well. There's going to be an imbalance there. Now, if you've been the lucky one, your partner might show up and start putting demands on you and saying, I'm not getting this and I'm not getting this. Or your boss might show up and say, look, you're kind of been lucky lately. There hasn't been much work, but you're getting paid too much. So we're going to reduce your pay or whatever. It's going to be about the struggle to achieve balance because things can only be sustained if there's a balance. We only can get paid the amount that the boss can pay us based on what we're actually producing that will make money, right? So there has to be a balance give and take for things to last. And Twashta Aditya is all about finding that balance give and take where we can keep going down the road. Um, with what we put out gets us enough back that we can keep going. And you're going to find that shit, I can't keep going this way if you're getting hit by this eclipse. Um, and depending what house it's in, what planet it hits, it's like I can't sustain this thing that's being impacted by this eclipse. I have to change it. And it's going to be hard to change. Jupiter's going to help you find the wisdom to change it. It's going to take an emotional adjustment, which means you're going to have to develop some emotional maturity in order to be able to make the change. That's the Pluto coming in from the original eclipse. You know, see, we do stupid things because we got emotional issues. So we're going to have to get over some emotional issues to create more balance in life, to make whatever work, whatever we're doing be sustainable. So we get enough luck, enough good stuff back from it to keep it and keep working it. Then the fact that the ruler of the eclipse is over there with the sun and with Mars in the opposite sign shows it's just going to be harder because you're going to be more locked in. You're like, gosh, I'm really locked into this pattern. It's going to be harder to break out of this pattern because there's that aspect. So you're going to have some inner conflict as you sort out how you're going to do this, how you're going to negotiate your time in order to get back a fair share, or how life is going to approach you and demand negotiation if you've been the lucky one who's been getting off doing less and getting more. It can be either way, depending on the condition of the planet that's getting hit in your chart. Um, so that's the theme of it. Wherever it's hitting, it's like, okay, time to get more or get less so that it's fair. So really look at it. If you're being asked during this eclipse to give more, to put out more, to get less of what you want, go, okay, try to see it from a point of that balance, not just the point of, oh, but I need that, but from a point of what's truly sustainable and look at it clearly. Just it's all about measuring. Is it truly sustainable? Can this company, can this person keep doing what they're doing with what they're going back and survive and be okay? Is that sustainable? Everything we do in life needs to last, has to be sustainable, which means the give and take is balanced enough that everyone involved can manage. If one person can't manage, eventually it's going to fall apart, right? And that's what we're going to see during this eclipse. You're going to see yourself not being able to manage unless you get more, or someone showing up and saying, I can't manage unless you get less or you give more. So it's going to be about striving towards that balance. So don't take it personally if all of a sudden you have to deal with this stuff. Just look at it from the point of view of, all right, I need to examine it from sustainability for it to last. Okay, I have to give more, receive less, whatever. I have to create a balance point where the give and take is more equal. Anyone who gets hit by this eclipse, you're going to be encountering a give and take that is not equal. And then you're going to have to make an adjustment with it. Okay. Jupiter's there to help you. You're going to have to make a huge emotional shift, which means you're going to have to make some emotional maturity in order to get through this eclipse and keep what you got. If you can't make the emotional shift to a more emotional, grown up adult state, because the moon is so childish, it's so needy. I need this, I need this, I need this. And just like a baby doesn't realize how much work it is for mom and dad to pay rent, buy food, etc., 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 all it knows is I have a dirty diaper, I'm hungry, I'm cold. It doesn't know everything mom and dad have to do. That's the nature of the moon. So, in the same way, we need to make the emotional growth to a more mature person who's like not so need centered and more about, okay, I get the bigger picture. It's not all about me, it's not all about my needs. That's something really to think about if you're on the end where all of a sudden you're going to get less or you have to contribute more. You have to grow up. Other people diminish themselves, have self-esteem issues, sell themselves out, feel they have to give someone $100 for every dollar they get back, 100 acts of service for, a thank you. So if you're stuck on that end of this wrong end of the scales, then it's a making the emotional shift of, wow, I deserve more. That's not fair. How am I treating myself? I'm really being bad to myself, letting everyone rate me and take advantage of me. So there's some people who don't feel worthy on some level, so they always feel they have to overdo it for everyone else. And there's other people who aren't as conscious of other people's needs and just conscious of their own. And if you're either one of those types, you're going to get hit by this eclipse. Or if you're getting hit by this eclipse, you're one of those types, and in some area of life, you're one of those types, and you're going to have to make some emotional growth to not be that type and achieve a greater balance in your life. So that's really the theme of this eclipse. Um, I like that Jupiter's there. This looks like a very successful eclipse to me. There's no Saturn involvement. There's a lot of energy to make this transformation to a better balance in your life. If you feel nervous, like, gosh, if I charge more, no one's going to buy my artwork, no one's going to come to my classes, et cetera, et cetera. If I ask for a raise, he's going to say no. No, you'll be surprised. This eclipse is there to create better balance where you have imbalance. There's nothing stopping that process. The only thing that has to happen for it to happen is you have to make that emotional shift into a greater maturity of being a less need-centered person if you've been the person who's contributing less, or the person who stands up for themselves more and says, I deserve more. I have needs too. They're not the only ones who have needs, so I need to charge more, whatever, get more in order to keep doing this. And once you make that shift, this eclipse is going to create a better life. If you're a person who's been in the more need-centered and not contributing as much, and you grow out of that and start contributing more, well, now you're going to have a better time and get more back from your relationship and wherever else you were contributing less, because contribution is what really does make the world go around. It does make our lives better with whatever we're dealing with. So I see this as a really positive eclipse in its results. There's nothing here to stop the good results. It's just there's going to be a lot of emotional um, intensity coming with it, which means you might, these imbalances could surface with a huge tidal wave of frustrated, disappointed emotions. So do expect some really, really strong emotional responses from people during this time. Do expect them from yourself, but it's all because, the tides are trying to achieve a state of balance and sustainability with the things in your life that this eclipse is hitting. If you're going to keep doing this, you got to have more balance. Okay. All right. That's all I have to say on this eclipse. I think, it could really be a huge life changer for people who it's hitting by because of the fact that we have on the other side of the eclipse, we have Mars, Mercury, Venus. We have so many planets over there that this eclipse is not going to make small little changes. This is the eclipse is making big changes, not just minor ones, but huge significant changes to have a more healthy exchange with your world. Okay, thank you.